back with more Buffy. This is episode 12 of season 3. I really had to think about that then. Blimey, my head's all over the place. Yeah, really enjoying the show and the season so far. Really interesting stuff. Last episode was really cool as well. For me, anyway. And we had a lot of kind of interesting exploration with Joyce. And again, like, you're being your own worst enemy, with like Sunnydale kind of turning on itself with like these Hansel and Gretel demon kind of thing, causing havoc. Really interesting stuff going on. And there were quite a few funny moments as well, which I always appreciate in a show that can be quite dark sometimes, and that episode got quite dark in some places. So yeah, really excited to carry on with the season, see what's going to happen next. We're over the halfway mark now, so I'm really excited to see, the plot, see how that's going to be changed and what's going to go down. And it'll be no surprise to know, if you watch my last reaction, I'm filming this like a couple of hours later. I am still sick and full of a cough and cold and everything. So yeah, apologies for any ness throughout the reaction. Should be alright, but yeah, just letting you know. Very excited to carry on with the season, so let's get into the next one.
Satisfied?
I'm not sure that's the word.
I wouldn't satisfy him again, to be honest. We know what happened last time.
Actually, I do have a date. Older man, very handsome. Likes it when I call him Daddy.
Your father. It is your father, right?
I fucking hope so.
He's taking me to the ice show. So here's the deal.
Oh shit. What the... Fibbins?
I just need to spend a little more time training.
Oops.
I'm gone.
Thank you. An ice show.
Every year my dad buys me cotton candy and one of those souvenir programs that has all the pictures and, okay, it's a big dumb girly thing, but I love it.
It's nostalgic.
It's not so girly. Ice is cool. It's water. But it's not.
I think it's sweet you and your dad.
He's not wrong.
His quarterly projections are unraveling and he can't afford to take off right now. He promises to make it up to you. It's all right there in the letter.
Oh, is he not coming? Oh, bless her. That sucks.
Very close.
What the
Slayer's
hell?
preparation is nearly complete.
Oh boy.
It's
More
not just
weirdos.
cartoon characters. If someone were free, they'd take their daughters or their
Oh.
student or their slayer.
What the... What the hell are you doing? Shouldn't you ask before you do that kind of shit, Giles? What the hell is going on?
Good night.
Exercise wheel. She runs around her nose with
Look at her.
How's it going changing her back into a
Look at her in that hat.
Still working on it. But I just got her the cutest
I
little
love
belt.
her.
It's just...
You don't...
Rebound. Look it up.
Hey, I'm not through here.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Oh shit.
What is wrong with you?
Ow. Oh, this started it.
Are you okay?
Oh god.
To lock her in this tomb, weakened, defenseless. To unleash that on her.
Oh, it's like a big test. What a fucked up way to test a Slayer. Hey!
Come on, come on.
That guy's from Star Trek Enterprise.
Maybe what we should be looking for is something like Slayer kryptonite.
Faulty metaphor. Kryptonite kills.
You're assuming I meant the green kryptonite. I was referring, of course, to the red kryptonite, which drains Superman of his powers.
Wrong. The gold kryptonite's a power sucker. The red kryptonite mutates Superman into some sort of weird...
Guys?
Wow, I'm relating strongly to those two right now.
If I don't get my powers back, then I don't. I'll deal.
This is awful. They
And there's a
put
whole lot
all the
of
Slayers
good
through
parts
this
to
at
it.
18.
Actually, did you find anything?
No, not yet.
Oh, I feel so bad. I feel bad.
Tails!
They're right in front of you.
Where?
Here.
I can't see, can't reach it.
It's a trap.
Open your eyes.
Oh no, Enterprise guy.
What do I have to offer? Why would you like me?
I saw you before you became a Slayer.
What?
I watched you.
Oh, he's actually telling
That's
her.
what you called. Held it before you for everyone to see. And I worried that it would be bruised or torn. And more than anything in my life, I wanted to keep it safe. To warm it with my own.
Damn.
That's beautiful.
You can tell he reads poetry.
Or taken literally incredibly gross.
I was just thinking that too.
That sounds like a Whedon kind of joke.
Why don't you call your friend in here? We'll discuss it over dinner.
Oh dear. What is happening with that guy? I am interested. Not good. Maybe it's Cherryade. Oh man, fuck
Hey, sweet
off.
girl. How much for a lap dance for me and my buddy?
Let me go.
You didn't say please.
Help me! Somebody, please!
Ah.
Somebody, please help me!
This is so bizarre. Seeing her like this. And like physically uncomfortable on her behalf. Oh my god, move! Oh, thank fuck. Thought he was gonna run her over then. Didn't realize it was a chance.
The effect is temporary. You'll be yourself again in a few days.
Oh, he looks so disappointed in himself.
It's a test, Buffy. Well, if she reaches her 18th birthday.
If she...
The Slayer.
Who are you?
Oh, fucking
How
hell.
could you do this to me?
I am deeply sorry, Buffy, and you have to understand.
If you touch me, I'll kill you.
Oh, fuck.
You have to listen to me.
This is breaking my heart.
Because I've told you this, the test is invalidated.
Oh God, is the world ending? I have to research a paper on Bosnia for tomorrow, but if the world's ending, I'm not gonna bother.
I don't know you.
Did something take her memory? He's Giles.
Oh, God, Cordelia.
Giles. He hangs out here a lot.
Cordelia, could you please drive me home?
Of course. But if the world doesn't end, I'm gonna need a note.
That's not Buffy. Shit. Shit. Oh man, like the two father figures in his life. And she's been let down by both of them. Oh. Boy. It's the worst selfie I've ever seen.
May I call you mother?
No, Norman.
My
No.
own mother.
You'd normally report misconduct like this to the council, but... Ugh.
I've told Buffy everything.
That is in direct opposition to the council's orders.
Yes. Interestingly, I don't give a rat's ass about the council's orders. There will be no test.
Yes.
Test has already begun. Giles, we've no business.
This is not business.
Fuck. I love that they've like used this episode to like make Buffy like the trope that the show's kind of turned on its head right from the off, and like the helpless damsel in distress thing.
Hide and seek.
Oh, no, just a little lower, right? Oh, yes. Oh.
Don't use that image out of context. You are strange. Oh, what are those photos of? They all of Joyce. As if so, he's got them printed out very quickly. I'll give him that. What a shit museum this is. What? Oh, it's pills in. That's right, bitch. I like that she's had to use like her intelligence and her brains to get out of it rather than brawn.
Do you have any idea? Oh my. What did you... My pills?
Ah, you genius. Bye, bitch.
If I was at full Slayer power, I'd be punning right about now.
Oh man, that looks painful. Oh, that's clever. Well done. Fuck, I'd have been fucked.
I think you better leave town before I get my strength back.
I've recommended to the council, and they've agreed that you'll be relieved of your duties as watcher immediately. You're fired.
On what grounds?
Your affection for your charge has rendered you incapable of clear and impartial judgment.
Fuck.
You have a father's love for the child, and that is useless to the cause. It would be best if you had no further contact with the Slayer.
I'm not going anywhere.
No, well, I didn't expect you would adhere to that. However, if you interfere with the new Watcher, or countermand his authority in any way, you will be dealt with.
Oh my
Are we clear?
god. These two are so good together. Like, oh, their performances. What the fuck are you two gonna do now? I don't want a new guy.
He's been fired. He's
Willow and her iconic hats this episode.
jobs. Feel better when I get my strength back.
Give you a hand with that, little lady?
You're loving this far too much.
Admit it, sometimes you just need a big, strong man.
You're not gonna be able to open it, are you?
Give me a hand with that?
Oh, that was good. That was funny. That was sublime. I think that's easily in my top 3, I think, of this season so far. I absolutely adored it. I thought it was so brilliantly done. I can't even begin to kind of try and put my praise into words, but I will try. What do we have? I liked Angel's role at the start of the episode. I feel like a lot of the side characters kind of took a back seat in this episode, which was really interesting. So Angel was only in it quite briefly, but I still liked his scenes and him like giving Buffy birthday presents and stuff like that. That was quite wholesome stuff, actually. And I really liked their scenes together. So that was cool. But then obviously, I think Willow and Xander and Oz didn't really have too much to do in this episode. I really liked Cordelia's role in things as well, however briefly that was. The fact that she was just so willing to drive Buffy home, I thought was really nice. It shows that she doesn't, necessarily mean the horrible things she was saying. Like in the last episode, she was mean to Buffy, but when it comes down to it, she recognises when Buffy's hurting, and she's not really the one that hurt her. So I think she's willing to help Buffy, which I really like. I like that we're returning to the idea of Buffy's birthday. So obviously we had that last season as well, and things went down in her last birthday. So I'm kind of scared for any future, it's Buffy's birthday episodes, because that probably means shit's going to hit the fan. God, I was not expecting an episode like this at all, and I love that. I loved the huge focus on Buffy and Giles' relationship, be it professional and personal, like the father-daughter bond they have going on. And I like that was directly addressed in this episode, where, is it Quentin? Is that his name? Like the older guy? He was telling Giles when he fired him, you've developed a bond that goes beyond his role as the Watcher, and he kind of cares for her as a daughter, which I love. That's what I love about their relationship. But obviously that was their downfall, which is kind of an interesting thing. And just the whole idea of this test, and and seeing a bit more into just how the council works like up close, I think was really, really interesting and really dark. The fact that they put a Slayer through that when they turn 18, and the Watcher's role in that is awful. And I love that Giles was kind of saying, no, I can't do this, because he's grown to care for Buffy so much, and he wasn't unable to switch off his emotions, which I really, really love. So I think Giles has always loved, you know, so honestly and so endearingly, just like he did with Jenny. So I thought that was just a brilliant idea to focus on that relationship and test it in such a kind of horrible kind of concept with this like test. And I think it's interesting given what Joyce was saying to Buffy in the previous episode about her being the Slayer and how it was kind of fruitless and almost pointless. And then in this episode, she kind of becomes fruitless because she loses what makes her the Slayer. And they keep toying this season with the idea of Buffy not being the Slayer. Because when she was talking about going to college and stuff, Giles was said, it's like, well, you know, Faith can always take over if you want to stop. And they keep coming back to like that. And I think that's a really interesting thing. So I thought it was really interesting that they did that. I wrote down the big bad vamp because I forgot what his name was. But like the big bad of the episode. I actually really liked the actor's performance. I thought that was really cool. He actually felt like quite a threat to me. He had kind of some of the like cliche, you know, crazy person tropes, if you will. It was like the backstory and everything. But I still really liked him as a villain, actually. Obviously not like the best one ever, but I really liked the actor's performance in particular. I thought he did a really good job. And I really liked the way Buffy kind of had to use brains over brawn to defeat him and use the holy water when he was swallowing his pills. I thought that was really cool. How she like took his one weakness and used that to kill him. Thought that was really, really clever. And I also like the idea of them. Buffy was talking, I think, to Angel about who she used to be before she was the Slayer, and like she was very much like Cordelia. And now we have Giles going back to before he was a Watcher. 'Cause now he's kind of not that anymore, which I think is an interesting kind of parallel in the way both of the positions of the Watcher and the Slayer were taken away from them in this episode at some point. Obviously, Buffy was it was taken from her really near the start, and she got it back, whereas Giles started with his position as the Watcher, and now he doesn't have it. And I'm very excited to see what they do with that story and how they explore what Giles is going to do next, and Giles and Buffy's relationship, if they can recover from this. I really hope they do, because it's such a wholesome relationship. And it looks like we're going to get another new Watcher for Faith and Buffy, so I'd love to see what Faith's reaction to these events are. And if this like new Watcher's going to be looking for a glove or something, and he turns out to be evil, who knows? Because Quentin did mention it was a he, I think. So it should be interesting if we actually meet this guy. I'm sure we will. And then I liked Joyce briefly being in it and being quite supportive to Buffy at the end of the episode when she was like, oh, she was really clever how she defeated this guy and stuff like that. And I also like how when we saw Buffy kind of stripped away from her powers, it was like another alternate version of Buffy. Kind of like, you know, we saw in The Wish an alternate version of Buffy when she was still the Slayer, but now we have I'm losing my voice. An alternate version of Buffy without her powers. And we're seeing like the powerless Buffy that we'd seen briefly in like flashbacks with Angel last season, but with the character development that she had while she was the Slayer. So it was kind of another iteration of Buffy that we're seeing, and I thought that was kind of interesting that we've kind of seen loads of different versions of Buffy already this season. So I thought that was a little thing to note. And I also like how Buffy losing her powers and stuff and being helpless, even though she turned out not to be helpless, which I loved. You know, it spoke a lot about harassment and consent stuff, like being injected, and those guys like hitting on Buffy and being really rude to her and stuff. So there's some kind of commentary there, which I think is a really interesting thing to explore. I'm glad they didn't go too far with that, because that might have, been a bit too much, considering how dark the episode already was. But I like that they kind of put that kind of stuff in there. And then again, the idea of who is Giles, because Buffy was like saying, I don't know you, I don't know who you are. And much like we've seen different iterations of Buffy, we've seen different iterations of Giles as well. We've seen the guy we met in season 1, and we've seen Ripper, and now we're seeing this other side to him, because whoever the hell Buffy kind of saw him as when he revealed what he was doing, and his role in things. So I think that's another interesting thing. And I also love the theme of like father figures in this episode, as well as betrayal, which has happened quite a lot this season, and the idea of forgiveness, which Giles I think desperately is craving, and I feel like they are going to be okay, because Buffy did let him tend to her wounds at the end, but fingers crossed. I'm really excited to see them explore that dynamic shift now. But yeah, Buffy was kind of let down by both her father figures in this episode, and I kind of liked that kind of parallel, especially when it's a birthday. It's bad enough when you get let down by like a parental figure at any point, but when it's your birthday, like poor Buffy, like give her a break. I think she deserves a party for her next birthday, like a proper one, but we'll see what happens. But I thought that was interesting, that she was let down by both the father figures in her life. And I also liked, one of Loki, my favourite scenes in the episode was Oz and Xander arguing about the different colour kryptonites. I mean, I'm not, I like comic books and stuff, but I'm not fully knowledgeable. I didn't know there was like red and gold kryptonite or whatever. I thought it was just the green stuff. But I like how they were talking about the loss of power through kryptonite, and Buffy had lost her powers. And then Giles, at the end of the episode, lost his power from being the Watcher. So this is quite a rough episode for Buffy and Giles, in both as individuals and their relationship. Took a big hit, but again, I love that they've taken what has basically been almost consistently stable since the beginning of the show, the Giles and Buffy bond, and kind of tested it and torn it apart, which is a very brave move, but that's something Buffy always does with characters. But I can't wait to see the after effects of this whole story and what's going to happen next, because this kind of really changes the game and changes the dynamics and stuff, because Giles can't get involved in Council and Slayer business anymore, so what is his role going to be? I'm really excited. I'm sure he'll become the Watcher again, well, I hope so, otherwise I'll be very annoyed. But what an interesting story, and just a sublime episode. Really creepy at times, and I think the performances, basically for everyone were fantastic, but especially Sarah Michelle Gellar and Anthony Stewart Head, they were phenomenal. I can't even put into words my praises for this episode. I thought it was just so brilliantly written, so cleverly done, and I love how they kind of explored Buffy becoming that damsel in distress trope, because the whole point of the show was kind of subverting that expectation, like they did with the very first scene of the show with Darla, and they explored that in such a brilliant way and unique way, while giving us kind of more insight into the Council, and Giles' now even more fractured relationship with them, and just seeing like the rug being pulled from underneath them, really. Really interesting stuff, and I love how supportive Xander, Oz and Willow were of Buffy throughout the whole episode. I thought that was really nice, as well as Joyce at the end. And yeah, I love how much they have tested the Buffy and Giles bond, because it's one of my favourite things in the show. I've always loved it when they've had scenes together. So when I think back to like Passion, when Giles has just like attacked Angelus, and Buffy smacks him, then hugs him and says, I can't do this without you. She's gonna have to now. That should be interesting. And then I can't remember exactly what episode it was, after everything kicked off with Angelus, and Buffy and Giles have that scene in the car where Giles is like, you have my support. I think that's such a beautiful scene. So to see what's happened to that relationship now, given those kind of moments, heartbreaking, but I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. Just an absolutely phenomenal episode. Let's see if you guys agree. I'm sure, I hope you will. I mean, if you don't, then that's fine. I Robot You Jane, I remember. But yeah, for me, phenomenal episode. I adored it, everything about it. It flew by. I can't believe that was like 42 minutes. And yeah, I'm so excited to see what they're going to do with the rest of the season now. This was an amazing episode, great performances. Love how dark it got, really well written, put together. Tested the characters, as this show does so brilliantly. And yeah, just everything it had going on, I was a huge fan of. One of my favourites of the season, for sure. And I think this would probably make my top 10 of the show so far, if I'm honest. I don't even want to think about doing a top 10 so far, though, because that would destroy me. I would have no idea where to start, really. But yeah, love this episode. Brilliant stuff. Superb. This show is, so bloody good. I can't wait to watch the rest of the season. Very interesting. Until my next reaction, thanks for watching.